Okay, the Toronto Maple Leafs make another big splash move with a trade, acquiring Jake McCabe and Sam Lafferty from the Chicago Blackhawks. I had to race home here on my lunch break to record this video. I'm not going to be consuming that Recipe 91 cereal. The only thing I'm consuming is this trade, so join me. Let's dive into this trade. So in the trade, the Toronto Maple Leafs acquired Jake McCabe, Sam Lafferty, a conditional 5th round pick in 2024, as well as a conditional 5th round pick in 2025. In exchange, the Blackhawks will be receiving a conditional 1st round pick in 2025, a 2nd round pick in 2026, and then Joey Anderson and Pavel Gogolev. In the deal, the Blackhawks will also be retaining 50% of Jake McCabe's salary. His contract is $4 million, 2 years beyond this season, so for the next 3 seasons, and that means the Leafs have Jake McCabe for $2 million for the next 3 years. Wonderful. I know you want to know more about these players, so I'm going to inform you about them. Jake McCabe, this season, through 55 games played with Chicago, he's recorded 2 goals and 18 assists. He's 2 points shy of his career high that he set last year with 22 points. And he's someone that's going to fill a really important need for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think he's someone that slots into the top 4 for this blue line unit. And, I mean, he's in his 10th NHL season. 6'1", 204-pound defenseman. With all those years of experience, he's never played in an NHL playoff game, but that's going to change this season, and I think he's one of those shutdown defensemen that you need to really succeed in the playoffs. Really solid addition for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then in terms of his contract, he's under contract for the next 3 years, 2 years beyond this season, and with Chicago retaining 50% of his $4 million cap hit, that's down to $2 million per season for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think it's great for the Maple Leafs to have someone of his caliber on their blue line under contract for the next few seasons at just $2 million. That's really a bargain contract. And the Toronto Maple Leafs are getting a solid defenseman in Jake McCabe. And before you ask, no, there's no relation to Brian McCabe. However, if he wore number 24, maybe some of those old Brian McCabe jerseys could come back out and be recycled. Just interesting little thought there. And now for Sam Lafferty. He's under contract this year and next season with a cap hit of $1.15 million. So neither of these guys are rentals, but Sam Lafferty is currently in the midst of his career best season in which he's recorded 10 goals, 11 assists, and 21 points through 51 games played. He's someone who can play on left wing, center, or right wing. He's a very versatile forward, and I'd expect to see him in that bottom 6 group, probably slot him in on the 3rd or 4th line. With Lafferty, the Toronto Maple Leafs are getting more and more depth up front, and that's something you can never get enough of, especially as the team goes into playoffs where people are going to get banged up. You're going to need to put some people in throughout the season. So it's nice to get some more depth, and I'd expect him to play a role similar to what we saw Colin Blackwell play last season with the Leafs. Now, Sam Lafferty has played in 1 playoff game through his 4-year NHL career. So that means these 2 players combined for just 1 playoff game. I mean, that's going to change this season. That's not ideal, but what you're getting with these 2 players, if you just forget about all the playoff experience, because they got tons of playoff experience when they acquired Ryan O'Reilly and Noel Acciari. With this trade, you're getting a much needed boost to that blue line, and you're getting another forward who can score some, and he adds some depth up front. That's something that's really important for this Maple Leafs team. And with Jake McCabe, I think that's massive. And with the Toronto Maple Leafs making a trade like this and a trade like the Ryan O'Reilly trade, they have offloaded a lot of their future. I mean, tons of prospects going to Chicago and St. Louis, and plenty of draft picks as well. I mean, when you look at the draft picks that the Toronto Maple Leafs have in this upcoming draft, they have 3 as of right now. They have a 3rd round pick, a 5th round pick, and a 6th round pick. And then in 2024, they have a total of 7 picks. They have their 1st round pick still. They have a 4th round pick and then a bunch of later picks. but I'm not too worried about that. This team is clearly all in on this season, and they're trying to bolster their lineup to give themselves the best shot at getting out of the first round and making a deep playoff run, which I think that's something that all Maple Leafs fans want to see. So I don't have a problem with them going all in. I actually love what they're doing right now. And sure, they're jeopardizing the future a little bit, but they've got some young talent on their team right now that they're aging at this point, but they have a solid core foundation, and you can make some trades. Just like when you look at the picks, they're definitely gonna have trouble developing players in the future, but this team is really just focused on right now, and I think that's the right mindset when you have this core group of players with Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, Nylander, Tavares. These guys aren't getting any younger. They're all in on winning right now. And hey, kudos to Kyle Dubas for making these moves work. He's plenty of, there was a total of 75% of Ryan O'Reilly's cap hit being retained between St. Louis and Minnesota, and then 50% of Jake McCabe's contract being retained by Chicago. He's making things work, fitting this team under the cap, and sure, he's giving up plenty of draft capital in the future, but he's made this team a lot better for right now, this season. And he knows that most of the people in that front office, their jobs are in jeopardy with the state of this team consistently being eliminated in the first round. They need to have success this year. But I want to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let's hear it. What would you grade this trade on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being you hate it, 10 being you love it. It's awesome. Let's hear it. Thanks for watching. As always, I'm Jake Varco, and this is Maple Leafs Media.